Tri-City Sports Now, you got me, Marky Billson here. A lot of stories going on here relating to a local interest that I should get to. Is Tennessee football going to go on probation? I hope not. But there was one big story. We talked a lot about Tennessee basketball. And by the way, I should also point this. Frank DeBusk has been named the athletic director at Dobyns-Bennett. That's a big name hire for the Indians, who have been really a mess, at least by their standards, in recent years. And you are talking about, at one time, the winningest football program in Tennessee, or now beyond Maryville, I believe. The second winningest program in the country in high school basketball, the winningest in baseball in the country. So this is one of the great high school athletic programs. But I guess I got enough time to tell you right here. There was a story that came out, and I know, list stories, they get a lot of clicks, they get a lot, but how reliable are they? And this came out in stadiumtalk.com. And they said best high schools for sports by state. So I'm going to, here give the tri-state area. We never call it the tri-state area, but you know what I'm talking about. Tennessee, Virginia, North Carolina. Okay, and just hold on to the idea. Frankie DeBusk, we'll talk a little bit about this here in just a second. Dobyns-Bennett, new athletic director. But I want to give you these North Carolina, for our North Carolina listeners who basically tune in to hear about sports in the Tri-Cities. Relating more to the Tri-Cities than Nashville, I suppose, and all of this. But no, occasionally we'll do this. NC State's in the news, by the way. I got to give you that information here. But what's the best high school for sports? Not just football, not just baseball, not just soccer. What is it for sports in North Carolina? Stadium Talk, Ross Kelly was the writer here. Yeah, to see if I can get Ross Kelly on and ask him about this. Anyway, Ross Kelly, how about this? All you Eastbound and Down fans will like this, as Kenny Powers, alma mater, I presume, is the one that gets it. Shelby High School open. What was the name of the high school in Eastbound and Down? Was it Shelby? I mean, he was from Shelby, North Carolina, but was Powers the PE teacher at Shelby High? Was that the deal there? I forget the name of the high school now. Eastbound and Down. But Shelby High School, so you don't have HBO, Marky. How did you know? I sought out Eastbound and Down. All right, there you go. That's who they mention, and I was surprised about this because the enrollment of Shelby is 849. Now, I lived in North Carolina. in 1982 and 1983. In 1982, Brevard High School won a state football championship, and then 82-83 they played and lost. It was the semifinals or the finals in the state basketball. So it was a powerhouse then. Brevard generally is viewed as pretty good. Best in the state. Probably was in 82-83. Maybe not every year. But Kelly writes that North Carolina is known as a hotbed for amateur basketball, from North Carolina and Duke all the way down to the high school level. But the prestige of the state's high school football program shouldn't be overlooked, and one of the most prominent football teams in the nation resides just outside of Charlotte. Shelby High School is one of 22 high schools in the country that have won at least 800 games. The school currently ranks 16th all-time in victories entering the 2019 season with 812, and have won 17 state titles, including 7 since 2005. The only thing is, and that's legit, but it's against competition of high schools. I mean, their enrollment is 849. Should a larger high school be determined as the best for sports in the state of North Carolina instead of just Shelby? Debatable, but they're going with football prowess, and Shelby the winningest program in football in North Carolina, so that gets them to win it. Controversial? Yes, we see the logic. What about in Virginia? No, folks, it's not John Battle. Okay, no. Hampton High School. No, not in Tennessee, in Virginia. Okay, Hampton High School. Virginia, here's an interesting stat. Virginia is the most populous state, or Commonwealth as they prefer to be called, I suppose, without a major sports team. They've had major pro sports before. They had, the Squires. They've been talked about in the Hampton Roads, Tidewater area, for having a baseball team, a hockey team, etc. And I guess there was some talk that the Nationals, the Expos, would move not to D.C., but Northern Virginia. Interesting. I guess there's also some talk about building stadiums in Northern Virginia, Fairfax, Alexandria, Vienna, that northern suburbs area of Virginia, that sort of thing. Virginia is the most populous state without a major sports team, but football is the most popular sport. Hampton High has become a football powerhouse over the years, both within the state and nationally. It has won 839 games, ninth most of any high school, and claimed 2 national championships in the 90s. There's been a lot of great players that have come out of the Hampton Roads area, even with the shipbuilding industry taking a big hit and Newport News losing a lot of population over the years. Yeah, you think Virginia Beach, nice place to go, a lot of parties there, that sort of thing, All right. Hampton High School in Virginia, Tidewater area, Norfolk, Hampton, Virginia, Chesapeake. The school has 10 titles, and outside of the military academies in Virginia, no other high school has produced more NFL players than Hampton High, with 12 players. Remember, I told you a lot of players. I think Michael Vick comes from the area. A lot of players come from the area. Mike Tomlin didn't play pro football, but yeah, he's from that area. He's a coach. Okay. So now we can see that, and they're doing it with football prowess, okay? Maybe they're going a little too small. Shelby High School in North Carolina is Kelly. But most pro players, 9th most victories all time, Hampton High School in Virginia, we see that, sure. What about Tennessee? Remember, I mentioned this because I think you can make a very strong argument for Dobyns-Bennett, because of their prominence. If we're talking about 4 sports, winningest baseball program in the country, second winningest basketball, men's sports, second winningest football team in the state after Maryville, who's just passed them. Okay, maybe that's enough for Maryville to say, hey, look, we win so much in football, we're such a powerhouse. Greenville has been doing great guns. Football titles, baseball titles recently. You want to talk about modern? Yeah, let's talk about them. That says a lot. This area hasn't been producing players the way that, say, Nashville has, for a lot of reasons. But I think that does speak well. History for Dobyns-Bennett, contemporary for Greenville, and for that matter, Maryville's an East Tennessee school as well. What about Brentwood Academy? We're going to go the private route. Boy, hard to argue there, huh? And then you've got, schools. Memphis White Station always seems to be, rather prominent and all the, Knox Catholic has risen a lot, but, Bearden seems to, Knoxville has a good reputation. What else? Red Bank High School down in Chattanooga has a good reputation. South Pittsburgh, the Pirates. They always win in football. You could, if you want to go the small route, although I couldn't imagine taking them historically over, say, Maryville or Dobyns-Bennett, or even Brentwood Academy. But this is where I kind of say, I've given you some arguments here. Stadium Talks, Ross Kelly selects for Tennessee Baylor School, which makes me think that Ross Kelly is nuts. They're in Chattanooga. They've been around since 1893. It costs $50,000 a year to go there. If you don't live in Chattanooga, if you're a boarding school and all this. Their enrollment, 6 through 12, not 9 through 12, 6 through 12, just above 1,000. But not to be confused with Baylor University. Thanks for pointing that out to us here, Ross. That's some good writing, Dickie. Baylor School is located about halfway between Nashville and Atlanta. In Chattanooga. The athletic facilities at Baylor School rival those at its university namesake, as well as many other Division I programs. On the Baylor School campus is a tennis center that has 19 courts, an aquatic center with an Olympic-sized swimming pool, and even a 6-hole short course for the golf team. That course has propelled the boys and girls golf teams to 36 combined state championships over the last 30 years. Folks, maybe I have an anti-golf bias, but can you say that because Baylor School has a 6-hole golf course and that helps them win golf titles, that puts Baylor School, private, $50,000 a year to go there? Again, that's boarding. Costs half that if you live in Chattanooga and feed your own kids and just take them to school. But is that really because they have a dominant golf program in the last 30 years, able to take Baylor School up above the history? And I know they've been down. Winningest baseball program in the country, second winningest high school basketball program in the country, second winningest high school football team in the state, and historically, up until just recent times with Maryville, the winningest football program in the country. Is that really enough to bring it past Dobyns-Bennett? That's what I ask. Because I don't think it is. And maybe we need to get Kelly on here and say, what are you doing taking a 6-hole golf course and a private school over Kingsport? Yeah. How are you doing that? I don't think it adds up. I think that's a short-sighted selection. Of course, it's an article in Stadium Talk. I don't know if it, has what weight does that give? It's a fun read. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, there you go. Tri-City Sports Center. Come back. I wanted to talk a little bit more about DeBusk in the next hour. DJ Burns has announced where he is going to go play his college basketball in the future, and it is kind of surprising. I want to talk a little bit about that, but before we do that, I want to finish up and remind you about Asian House. And Asian House is this great restaurant. I've talked about it a lot. They're in Johnson City, halfway on your trip to Jonesboro on Market Street. They're actually in the Shops in West Market. They're just off Leisure Lane. That shopping center right there. Because the other stores and restaurants have not advertised this, I hesitate to give them the credit at the Shops at West Market. But they're on your way to Jonesboro. If you're listening in Jonesboro and you're driving into Johnson City, they're there on your right once you go into the city limits. It's about a mile shy of State of Franklin and West Market. 321 11E. Now you know where it's at, okay, and all those. I mention this all the time. First of all, you want to go there. You want to mention my name, Marky Billson, in Tri-City Sports Now on 1420 WEMB Sports Radio, which can also be heard at jetbroadcasting.live. But you want to mention my name, Marky Billson, because you get 10% off. And it's Thursday. You know what Thursday is? I mean, you want to kind of, Friday, put the feet up on the desk. There's work to do, and you want to get rid of the prep. But today, this is the day where you really want to get things done, right? Not going to happen when you eat lunch and you're bogged down with grease. You're bogged down with cheese. You're bogged down with those sort of lunches. So I'm recommending Asian House, and I'm recommending Japanese food because I'm telling you, sushi, very high in protein. Think about this. It's got the rice. It's got the fish. That'll keep you going the rest of the day. It won't make you fat either. And you get 10% off by mentioning my name. It's down there at Asian House, Shops in West Market on your way to Jonesboro, 11E 321, Market Street. You know where it is. Just the Shops in West Market, the shopping center off of Leisure Street. Go there now. Japanese food. Check it out. Plus, I got the grill and sashimi there as well as Chinese food. 20 WEMB